Look, so there's dialogue um, that came from profile characteristics that led me to ask the question who her dad was, pigeon toe, and some of the tattoos as a pretty easy identification proof. And then, I don't know what the legal system in Australia is, but there was a lot more concerning stuff that immediately popped to the forefront. I understand that it's a stretch, but I really truly believe the polygraph should be functional. And George Santos managed to slip past the FBI's polygraph in Congress, so we're not utilizing the polygraph to find missing kids. I've been working on this for an extensive period of time. I have no idea how to present some of the moments that I'd like to shed some light on in regards to people that brought. Did it pause on this? No, I was talking on this. Let's not let this happen to our kids, huh? Send her back to where she came from. Catch and release. Thank you very much, Chris. Okay, so some of the jokes aren't really appropriate. There's some stuff that I just love to show you with interpersonal that can be really fun if you play around with speed. There's a possibility the Tenet movie may have been based on some stuff that I did that I'd love to show you someday. With just the camera, it has nothing to do with me. I'm not as interesting as the guy in Tenet. But backwards and forwards can show you some really, really interesting things. Because it looks like he's a magician, doesn't it? When you start changing the dialogue elements to facilitate exposing children to the camera, there are some overwhelming concepts there. And then, this was bizarre at best. He did. I'm not limited with you. With the other kids, I was like asking whatever you want. I'm limited to you to make 2 questions at the most. The treasure boobs. Okay. Do you have a boy? To you to like make. That is. Awkward. I'm shaking right now. Look at me. So again, I understand that some of these are a little bit of a stretch, but
how long? If so, how long? Okay. Do you have a boyfriend now? If so, how long? How long have you had a?
Yeah. So he stopped with the end of the question and then continued, and then she says he had the answers to both of those, so he's asking a new question. He can't accept that she has a boyfriend, and then he's asking for length because of jealousy, because he loved her. I mean, yeah, it's a profile characteristic, and I'm not saying that that's true. I'm saying that's the position that I would take on a polygraph, asking a couple of questions based on the microchip. And bows in the hair connected to the bows on packages and the bows on vehicles now is one of those signs and identifiers. So my pattern level dialogue will sometimes just be random statements about other emerging trends that you're starting to see that really do make me sound strange. So I'm trying. It's inside you, love. It's inside you, love. That's all that Dad said. He just asked if you have a boyfriend and how long. He snuck a look at her. And then the mom says she microchipped, and that's the mom, by the way. That's their mom. That's nuts, right? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And again, I'm not trying to I mean, you shouldn't be able to just look at other people's. I don't really think this is. I don't know how to feel about children being presented on. I don't even know if this is real, right? This could all be AI. But as long as you're doing this and we're having the conversation and it stemmed from even the comments in and of themselves can be really overwhelming to read through. I don't want to subject myself. I don't want people to know what my identity is because I'm still trying to work and I wouldn't want to get microanalyzed like this. But that's a really strange statement and a really scary statement to the idea that the parents could convince the child that they're being tracked and that they wouldn't be able to talk to law enforcement, that they may not be able to feel safe speaking on the phone. FBI doesn't give you a mechanism to be able to reach out to FBI if you're under digital attack. So there's a possibility that some of the kids tried reaching out to FBI and local law enforcement show up in the United States. I don't know what the situation is in Australia, but having a terminal at school where children can anonymously approach a digital medium to try and set up an appointment at school to talk to a female law enforcement. I'd love to show you what the original pattern level was to this, because I want there to be the understanding. I don't need credit for it, and I certainly don't want to sound like a weirdo. It's a couple of things. It's a micro expression here, and I don't want to give the whole world the understanding of what the micro expressions are, or what the tells are, or what the hesitations are. It's a lot of work to be able to apply what the computer understands and try to explain it, and then I want it to be mildly entertaining so that it's easier to digest. This is super overwhelming to know. Did you abuse me when I was a kid? Yes, he did. I believe he did. And now he's convinced the little ones that he has access to that they're microchipped. So Elon Musk's dad is married to his stepdaughter. And there's a chance the Matrix cake scene is in connection to what that is. So there are some really complex ideas that are permeating CCTV, representing fantasy later, and implant technology is emerging. Bone conduction, nanotechnology implants are functional. He's angry. Do you have a boyfriend? Because I'm supposed to be angry like your dad. Okay, and how long? That's the rest of it, sir. I feel like without a shadow of a doubt, you're not safe to have around the kids. But I hope that I'm wrong, and maybe there's something I don't see. But I believe without the shadow of a doubt that you were abusive based on the profile characteristics, the nervousness, the pigeon toe, and some of the tattoos. Characteristics, profiles, body language. So, the original video is much funnier. And I tried to take the edge off by, America is about as backwards as you can get, so if you think your penal colony is bad. But there's a moment here where the micro expression is she's crying at the idea that she can't get away. Right here. And it sucks to be stuck. And I'm not trying to present onto people, but you can see that Indiana is upset. And I understand that it's hard to believe that micro expressions are visible, but these micro expressions, it's really overwhelming for me to do that. I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to do this. I just think that somebody needs to polygraph him, and I don't know how to get Australia up to speed. I mean, their politicians are screaming at their parliament like, you don't know anything about submarines. We need the nuclear ones. Well, I don't think we should give criminals nuclear submarines. And if this isn't evidence... Okay, I'm trying to make jokes because I don't know what to do with that. I'm sorry, but I have to show you the micro expressions on the backdrop of a microchip with a threat that is, if you ever go to law enforcement, there's a possibility we know. If you ever talk to someone on the phone, there's a chance we can listen. I don't know what they're telling her. I love me, Dad. Maybe. Go back to penal colony land with him. Don't bring your sickness here. Bad joke? Probably. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason Australians are in Australia. They started as criminals. So maybe we need to stop allowing for visas to be functionally given to Australians. And then, if their law enforcement hears this, maybe you can start polygraphing. And I have some plans, and we can send some resources from the military over to help you build what you need so that we can provide more healthy, sustainable, alternative tiny houses. I'm trying to figure out what to do with the statistic. You can't leave predators with kids. So I have a couple of reasons that I think it could have happened, right? And those reasons are hypnosis with the radios at night with ultra high and low frequency tones, and hertz and gigahertz and places where you may not be able to hear, but you may still be able to understand. And then there's a possibility that one of the recent cases and claims on the We're All Insane is connected to an episode of SVU. So young people may be talking about their trauma based on what they're seeing on TV as their early understanding. So I don't mean to leave them as the backdrop. And I made a joke about I'm getting you canceled, and I'm going to report you to Epstein immediately based on you doing an inadvertent but semi-intentional Me Too movement thing. There's a ton. The micro expressions here. Do you see that? Yeah, I do. I don't. Maybe the government will at some point too, when they decide to pull their heads out of their asses and stop saying that the legal system can just do whatever it wants. We're a sovereignly immune commonwealth. UVA says the doctors and lawyers can run naked across the yard at UVA, right? They pulled my friend off of life support. She was a kid. The whole family had trauma and abuse. They don't do a profile or a screening to see whether or not an adult making a determination with financial resources about the life support machines for kids in the United States. I mean, this country's about as backwards as it can be. We're eating animal byproducts in the vast majority of the products, whether it's ascorbic acid. When it says organic, it's organ related, okay? Prophetic, romantic, romance related, diabetes, diabetic. The maltodextrin is from an organic source, meaning it's sourced from organs. There's organ meat that they put into a vat and extract the vitamins and minerals. All right. Let's just take a look at Camp Ramsbottom. Send your kids to Camp Ramsbottom. I mean, you're ridiculous at this point, America, for leaving a concept like that. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with any of this. And if you get a million positive comments on it, all right.